Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining for today's Bhagavad Gita class. Today, we are going to discuss from 12th chapter from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Devotional Service. The chapter is entitled as Devotional Service. Let us start with an auspicious prayers. Please pray along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Prapanna Parijataya, Totra Vetraikapanaye, Jnanamudraya Krishnaya, Gitamrita Duhe Namaha. Hare Krishna. From today, we'll start 12th chapter. We have completed the first 11 chapters by daily reading and discussing one sloka per day. We are discussing one sloka, and today we'll start 12th chapter. 12.1 will start. Before starting, let us see how chapters are segregated. The first 6 chapters focuses on karma and how one needs to perform karma and how it leads to bhakti. In the next 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters, 6th chapter to 12th chapter, focuses on bhakti itself, and the remaining last 6 chapters focuses on jnana and how it leads to bhakti. So it is a kind of a sandwich. There's upper karma and the lower jnana, which is protecting the middle bhakti chapters, kind of. This is the last chapter in this 6 chapters, which discusses on bhakti. 12th chapter. This is entitled as Devotional Service. And let's see what are the sections present in this chapter, 12th chapter. The first 7 slokas focuses on how worshipping the personal form of Lord Sri Krishna is greater than meditating or worshipping the impersonal Brahman, impersonal feature of the Lord. In the next 4 slokas explain the progressive stages of bhakti, different levels of bhakti, as we have already discussed briefly about different stages of people who stay in devotional ladder, bhakti yoga. And the next 7 slokas discusses about qualities that endear one to Krishna. So without any delay, let us start with the first sloka, 12.1. Arjuna Uvacha Evam Satata Yukta Ye Bhaktas Tvam Paryupasate Ye Chap Aksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittama. Can someone please read the translation?
Prabhuji, can I try?
Yes, please.
Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So this is the first question Arjuna asked after completion of the 11th chapter, where Krishna shows universal form to Arjuna, and then we have seen how Arjuna prays and he presents his desires and he expresses what he feels after looking at the Vishwarupa, universal form, and he presents his inner feeling that he wants to see the four-handed form and then two-handed form, Shams in that form. I want to see you back in that form. Then Krishna shows it back. We have seen how Krishna explained about the universal form before showing it, and then how Sanjaya explained it and how Arjuna experienced it. Later on, Arjuna's prayers and his desire got fulfilled. Krishna came back into this two-handed form. And now in this chapter, we also have seen last two slokas, 11.51 and 52, very important slokas. 11.55, which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna explains that one who becomes devotee of mine, one who uh, is devoid of material, bad material association, one who is non-envious, one who does Krishna karma, working for Krishna. So all these activities who does, only they can easily attain. These are the ways Krishna has explained to do this ananya bhakti, undivided, unmotivated and uninterrupted, unmixed devotion, pure devotion towards Krishna. How Gopas have, they only want Krishna, irrespective of Krishna doing bad things or good things, irrespective of their feelings. I'll think about Krishna later on. I am busy now. No, it's not like that. Whatever may be the situation, whatever may be Krishna's behavior, they always wanted Krishna. That is pure love they had towards him. For that, Krishna explained what all we can do so that we can attain him. And now in this chapter, Arjuna straight away asks some questions which are considered to be more perfect. Tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Which one is perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman? Arjuna asks, Evam satata yukta ye, one who always, satata, always, yukta ye, always engaged in bhaktas tvam paryupasate. Bhakta, one who always engages in devotional service towards you, tvam, or Chap, aksharam avyaktam. These two means impersonal Brahman, aksharam avyaktam, which means unmanifested. Or those who worship or meditate on this impersonal Brahman. Tesham ke yoga vittama. Which one is more perfect or more best one? Which is the best one, Krishna? Can you tell me which is the best one among these two? This is Arjuna's question. Now let us read a purport from his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Um, Krishna has now explained about the personal, the impersonal, and the universal, and has described all the kind of devotees and yogis. Generally, transcendentalists can be divided into two classes. One is impersonalist, and other is a personalist. The personalist devotee engage himself with the all energy in the service of Supreme Lord. The impersonalist also engage himself not directly in the service of Krishna, but in the meditation on impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. We find in this chapter that the different process for realizing of the absolute truth, bhakti yoga devotional service is the highest. If one at all the desire to have the association of a supreme lord of supreme personality of Godhead, then he must take to devotional service. Those who worship the supreme lord directly by devotional service are called personalists. Those who engage themselves in meditation or impersonal Brahman are called impersonalists. Arjun is here questioning which position is better. There are different ways to realize the absolute truth. But the Krishna indicated in this chapter the bhakti yoga or devotional service to him. In this, it is the highest of all. It is the most direct and it is the easiest mean of for association with the Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. There's one more slide. I'll read it. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord explained that a living entity is not the material body, it is a spiritual spark. And the absolute truth is the spiritual whole. In the 7th chapter, he spoke of the living entity as being part and parcel of the supreme whole and recommended that he transfer his attention fully to the whole. Then again, in the 8th chapter, it was said that anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of quitting his body is at once transferred to the spiritual sky, to the abode of Krishna. And at the end of the 6th chapter, the Lord clearly said that of all yogis, one who always thinks of Krishna within himself is considered the most perfect. So in practically every chapter, the conclusion has been that one should be attached to the personal form of Krishna, for that is the highest spiritual realization. Nevertheless, there are those who are not attached to the personal form of Krishna. They are so firmly detached that even in the preparation of commentaries to the Bhagavad Gita, they want to distract other people from Krishna and transfer all devotion to the impersonal Brahma Jyotir. They prefer to meditate on the impersonal form of the absolute truth, which is beyond the reach of senses and is not manifest. And so, factually, there are two classes of transcendentalists. Now, Arjuna is trying to settle the question of which process is easier and which of the classes is most perfect. In other words, he is clarifying his own position because he is attached to the personal form of Krishna. He is not attached to the impersonal Brahman. He wants to know whether his position is secure. The impersonal manifestation, either in this material world or in the spiritual world of the Supreme Lord, is a problem for meditation. Actually, one cannot perfectly conceive of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. Therefore, Arjuna wants to say, what is the use of such a waste of time? Arjuna experienced in the 11th chapter that to be attached to the personal form of Krishna is the best, because he could thus understand all other forms at the same time and there was no disturbance to his love for Krishna. This important question asked of Krishna by Arjuna will clarify the distinction between the personal and impersonal conceptions of the absolute truth. Hare Krishna. Let's go back to the sloka once. So, from the purport, we can see that how Prabhupada explained that there are two kinds of transcendentalists, two kinds of people, of course, transcended beyond the three modes, but there is a difference. To clarify and to finalize this critical question, Arjuna asked it to Krishna. There are, what are these two kinds of transcendentalists? Transcendentalist means who are beyond gunas, material modes of nature. So first category is one who worships the personal form of Krishna, the original divine Sachidananda Rupa of Krishna, pure Sachidananda form. And the second one is person who meditates on the impersonal Brahman, which is unmanifest, avyaktam. That is also a feature of Krishna. To clearly understand what is a personal and what is the impersonal feature of the Lord, one can take this example of a sun. There are three features for a sun. If we perceive sun in the daytime, we can see sunlight from here, from Earth. When one goes closer to it, one can see that beyond the sunlight, there is a source which is a sun planet, where the protons and all this chemical reactions goes and light is emitted. So this sun globe is present, sun planet. And one even goes even further, one can see sun god, Surya Deva is also a manifestation of Krishna. People call as Surya Narayan. So we see sun god. There are three features. One is light, and the second one is sun planet. The third one is a personal god, sun god, who takes care of this sun. So similarly, there are different features for the Lord also. When one sees far away from too far, one can see, because we are present in this material world, when we see surroundings of us, we see Krishna present in each and every atom, and also between the spaces of atoms. Everywhere Krishna is present as Paramatma. Just like the sunlight is pervaded everywhere, Krishna is pervaded everywhere through his energy. As a Paramatma, he is present everywhere, also in our heart. He takes care of everyone, right? So he's present. And when one goes closer, then one sees impersonal feature of the Lord, and then even closer, one sees the personal feature of the Lord as Shyam Sundar, two-handed form, Adi Purusha. He is the original transcendental form, Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is a person, Krishna. So this Paramatma feature and this impersonal Brahman has a source of Krishna. You can't separate them from Krishna. They don't have any identity separate. But for our understanding, we can understand Krishna is present as an Paramatma. He is present as a impersonal Brahman, and he is originally present as two-handed Shamsundar form in Golok. One can never separate them. So here Arjuna is asking, among the two category of transcendentalists, which one is better, Krishna? Who can easily approach you? Which is the perfect way? That is what Arjuna asks, so that one can get a clarification which path to choose, or which form, or which impersonal form or personal form, what to choose in their spiritual journey. So this is a really important question that one needs to ponder on. So from the purport, one can see that Prabhupada gave some references from the previous chapters. So in the second chapter, Krishna says that we are all spiritual sparks. We are not this body, but we are the spirit souls. And later on in this seventh chapter, Krishna explains how we are part and parcels of Krishna. We are not the whole, but we are just a part. Just like there is an ocean full of salt water, we are just a drop. We are Anu and he is Vibhu. We are just a part and Krishna is the whole. And also he says that how one can approach him when one thinks about him at the time of death. In the 8th chapter ending, this last question Arjuna asks in the 8th chapter, how can we achieve you? How can we remember you at the time of death? And then Krishna says, among all the yogis, who is the best yogi? One who always thinks about Krishna. And obviously that is Bhakti Yoga. One who always thinks and who is eager to please Krishna, Krishna in the two-handed form, personal form. That is the highest spiritual realization. So now one can understand that Prabhupada explains how the two-handed form, or the personal form, worshipping two-handed form is best among the two classes of transcendentalists. That is answered in the next shloka, 12.2, by Krishna himself. We can take this shloka also today, 12.2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshya Mano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Paryo Vedas Te Me Yukta Tamamata. Can someone read the translation and purport?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Those who fix their mind on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with a great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect." In answer to Arjun's question, Krishna clearly says that he who concentrate upon his personal form, who worship him with the faith and devotion, to be considered most perfect in yoga. For one is such a Krishna consciousness, there are no material activity because everything is done for Krishna. A pure devotee is constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hear and read books and about Krishna, or sometimes cooks prasadam or goes to marketplace to purchase something for a Krishna, or sometimes he washes the temple or other dishes. Whatever he does not let a single moment pass without devoting his activity to Krishna. Such action is called samadhi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna said, Maya Veshya Mano Ye Mam, Mai, which means me, those who always fixes their minds on my personal form. Here, Ma means Krishna. Of course, that is Krishna who is speaking, and it is not something, some impersonal light which is behind Krishna that is making him speak. My means Krishna. That's why here the translation is given as my personal form. Those who always fixes their minds on me, Mano. Nitya Yukta Upasate, and Nitya Yukta, always engage Upasate, worship, always engaged in worshiping me. Shraddhaya Parayopetas, Shraddha with great Shraddha, with great faith and transcendental faith. Eme Yukta Tamamata are considered by me to be the most perfect. So it is very clear that Krishna is explaining that one who engages in worshipping him, his personal form, Ma, Mai, it is mentioned as Krishna. So the answer is crystal clear that Krishna says among the two transcendentalists, both are obviously transcendental, but among the two, the best and the most perfect is those who worship him in his personal form and with great and transcendental faith. So here some examples of Krishna conscious devotee are mentioned by Prabhupada, that though a devotee may be absorbed in reading, or maybe he is focused in cooking prasadam for Krishna, and maybe he is bringing some foodstuff, foodstuff for devotees. He's purchasing something for Krishna. He's washing the temple or the dishes that is cooked. So each and every moment, a Krishna conscious devotee never leaves without thinking about Krishna. That is an action in full samadhi, which means one 24/7 continuously focuses and thinks about Krishna, as mentioned in this shloka. Always engaged in worshipping of him in the transcendental faith, great transcendental faith, great Shraddha on his personal form. So from 12.3, we'll continue tomorrow. This is the end for today. I'll read the two shlokas once again. Arjuna Uvacha Evam Satatayukta Ye Bhakta Swam Paryupasate Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittama. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshya Mano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetas Te Mam Yukta Tamamata. Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for hearing patiently. We'll end here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.